Conclusion. And after that, says Cineas, I ask that freedoms turn back toward me in order to necessitate my actions. But can't reflection surpass this very action that claims to justify me? Men approve my work. Their approval is in turn fixed as an object. It is as futile as my work itself. But shouldn't one conclude that all is vanity? What reflection reveals to me is that every project leaves room for a new question. Within myself, I have a negative power with respect to my project and myself, through which I appear as emerging in nothingness. It releases me from the illusion of false objectivity. I learn from it that there is no other end in the world besides my ends, and no other place besides the one that I carve out for myself. And other men do not have in their possession the values that I wish to attain either. If I transcend them, they can do nothing for me. In order to be recognized by them, I must first recognize them. Our freedoms support each other like the stones in an ark, but in an ark that no pillars support. Humanity is entirely suspended in a void that it creates itself by its reflection on its plenitude. But since this void is only a reverse side, since reflection is possible only after spontaneous movement, why grant it a predominance and condemn human projects by comparing them with the tranquility of nothingness? Reflection makes nothingness spring up around me, but reflection is not carried in its heart. It is not authorized to speak in its name and judge the human condition from its point of view. Wherever this is a point of view, there is not nothingness, and to tell the truth, I can take no other point of view but my own. One and the same finite project throws me into this world and toward these men. If I love a man with an absolute love, his approval is sufficient for me. If I act for a city, a country, I appeal to my fellow citizens, to my fellow countrymen. If I create real ties between me and future centuries, my voice crosses the centuries. Of course, in any event, there is a point where my transcendence runs aground, but reflection cannot surpass it. I exist today, and today throws me into a future defined by my present object. Wherever the project stops, my future also stops. And if I claim to contemplate myself from the depths of this time where I am not, that is but a pretense, and I am only uttering empty words. For eternity, a minute is equal to a century. For infinity, the atom is equal to the nebula, but I am floating neither in infinity nor in eternity. I am situated in a world that my presence defines. One only transcends oneself toward an end, and if I have precisely posited my end before me, toward what could I surpass it? Toward what could I transcend an exclusive love during the time that I love? When other men have begun to exist for me, then I could transcend that love. But I cannot transcend toward nothing the totality of men whom my project causes to exist for me. One can surpass one project only by realizing another. To transcend a transcendence is not to effectuate a progress, because these different projects are separate. The transcendent transcendence can in turn be transcended. No instant joins up with the eternal. Ecstasy and anguish still take their place in time. They are projects themselves. Every thought, every feeling is project. Thus, the life of man does not appear as a progress, but as a cycle. What good does it do, he says, and he continues his task. I now see that moment of doubt or of ecstasy where all projects seem useless to me as a fit of ill humor or puerile exaltation. Between these two moments, who will judge? They exist together only by a third moment that must in turn be judged. That is no doubt why so much importance is attached to the last wish of a dying man. It is not only one wish among others, but it is the one in which the dying man has grasped his whole life again. Whoever wants to continue to affirm a dear friend's life against death prolongs his last instant by maintaining its privilege. It is only when I separate myself from the dead person in order to look at him from the outside that the last instant becomes an instant among others. Then the dead person is really dead. I transcend all his wishes equally. We are free to transcend all transcendence. We can always escape toward an elsewhere, but this elsewhere is still somewhere in the heart of our condition. We never escape from that human condition, and we have no way to envision it from the outside in order to judge it. It alone makes language possible. It is with our human condition that good and evil are defined. The words utility, progress, and fear have meaning only in a world where the project has made points of view and ends appear. They presuppose this project and cannot be applied to it. Man knows nothing other than himself, and cannot even dream of anything that is not human. To what can he therefore be compared? What man could judge man? In whose name would he speak?